the second episode of Mid Thoughts. Oh my god, yay! The same setup, you know, we got Dottie here. I'm even wearing pink. It's like actually kind of unintentional, but it's cute. Today we're gonna talk about what I misunderstood about getting pretty. And I'm so excited to talk about this topic because, yeah, it's kind of shallow-ish, but also I feel like acting, like looks and aesthetics and everything doesn't really matter. I mean, to some degree, it might be ideal if it wouldn't matter, but it kind of does matter. And I'm kind of into, well, pretty stuff. I mean, come on. So I love fashion, I love makeup, and I got into it pretty early. And if I look at my favorite movies, which are Clueless and Mean Girls, there's like a pretty high focus on looks and beauty and fashion and makeup and everything. I was just thinking about it, like, what did I love especially about these movies? And I think there were like definitely characters I adored, like obviously Cher from Clueless, and I have to admit even Regina George, you know, she is a mean girl, obviously, but she has something about her, something magnetic. But one topic these two movies have in common is the transformation, the glow up. And these were like some of my favorite moments as a young girl, not only on these movies, but overall in the media at that time. This constant glow up topic, and not even movies, like even if we look at Vine, those glow up trends where you would put like cream on your face and draw yourself like monobrows and stick like ear cleaners everywhere, and then uh, uh, the cheerleader song. I'm not gonna sing it. I was just struggling to sing it already, so I will not even try to sing it. But like, you get what I mean. Then they like cover the camera, and then they, you know, this. And you know, I'm guilty of it. I loved watching it because if I had to guess, it's not necessarily the glow up itself, but the aspect of the rebrand, or maybe even a kind of payback. You know, like this typical trope where like the unpopular girl with glasses and braces would suddenly turn up at prom and took off her glasses, and suddenly she's like this princess, like, oh my god, I didn't even know you were so beautiful because the glasses covered your face. What? The thought of payback is so stupid. Like, if you think about it, like, of course, the feeling of revenge, like wanting revenge, is, I think, a feeling anyone had at least sometimes. But the thing about revenge is, or like seeking payback, that you give control back to the other side, because you start watching for reaction, you start looking for jealousy, guilt, regret. But the thing is, it rarely comes how you want it to be. You know, maybe they will regret it, but you cannot read it in their face. And that thought made me wonder if this part of beauty is so much about everyone else, or at least the person you want to pay back to. How can we make beauty truly for ourselves? And what comes to my mind is, listen, repair instead of revenge. Let it sit. Let it sit. I might be proud of it. I don't know. Am I proud of it? We will get into it, then I will decide. Because I feel like when we are at the point where we look somewhere else for reaction, let's say for revenge, like I said, we kind of make us dependent. And also, I think there's something in us that might need some sort of reparation, that we look from someone else. Because let's say someone wronged you, someone was disrespectful, maybe you deserve the biggest apology in the world, maybe you will not get it. Actually, it's pretty likely you will not get the apology. Try to find the solution in yourself, because this will not make you dependent. I think that's kind of sad, you know, like, you deserve apology and you just like, be like, okay, I kinda handled myself. But sometimes that's necessary, right? And the best question to ask yourself is, what do I need? It's so good and it's so simple. And you know, you can start very simple to answer that. It can be just like, I want to get liked. And that's like something which you cannot control. You cannot control if other people like you, but then you can keep working on that. And then just checking, what do I actually need? Work on my self-esteem, confidence. You know, there's like endless possibilities. On the other hand, I don't like acting like beauty doesn't matter, like I said in the beginning. Because when I talk out of my perspective, when I got into high school, looks suddenly mattered. And that was like an instant switch, because in elementary school it didn't even matter to me and it didn't seem like a big topic. But when I switched then to high school, it suddenly was like the main focus point. And I wasn't a girl that really bothered with looks, so I was like, what the fuck is happening? Because I realized I worried about brands, I worried about my looks, I worried about if I wear skinny jeans. At that time skinny jeans were a thing. In elementary school I used to wear whatever I wanted, and what I wanted to wear was always black clothes. um, you may think that's not something special, everyone wears black. Well, not at that time, not at my school. It was so weird to my classmates, and I remember they just kept like asking like, why do you always wear black? And I was like, why not? So when I got into high school, I perceived fashion as something way stricter. There was like some unwritten social rule in these walls of my high school, and I feel like most people can relate. And I think that also is connected with the age. You know, you don't really want to fall out, you don't want to be an outcast, but you kind of want to belong, but you kind of want to be seen, but also not too much. Like you're everywhere between, kind of hanging between these things. And I started to explore in these very tight walls that somewhere were created between trends and, well, I don't know, whatever was going on there. Every time I went shopping, I made sure I shopped these things that kind of fit the vibe, the aesthetic, the trends that were going on at that time. I realized pretty quick that like with everything you wear, certain like characteristics are connected. If I would wear this, you know, these superstars and the bomber jacket and whatever, I would not only keep up with the trend, but I might be perceived a certain way. But was it my style? I thought it looked cool. It looked cool on my classmates. Sometimes I felt comfortable in it, sometimes not, but it wasn't fully my style. It's so interesting actually, because I have it so often that I see things and I like it and I feel like it looks so good, but it's not my style. And this has been a struggle for me for so long, because I kept buying things that I thought looked so cool. I have to tell you about one item I bought. It was I think it was from ASOS, and it was like a baggy shirt in velvet, but like orange velvet, but not bright, but like almost brown. And then it had like white green stripes here, and it had like little diamonds everywhere. I wanted to say I thought it looked good, but I'm struggling so much right now to connect with that version of me. I don't know if I even thought, like, I must have liked it at some point, but I never wore it to school. I only wore it at home. I don't know if it was because I wasn't even so sure myself, or if I was like unsure what the people would say. But that was like a crazy choice of a shirt actually. Each trend you can think of, I went along. Like even this Arto phase, and I had like from Doc Martens some, which were actually kind of cool. Like they were like painted with flowers, and I cut my hair pretty short. This was also the time I got into K-pop. Oh my god, K-pop is such a such an influence. I'm laughing because it's like so extreme. Like anyone that got into K-pop, especially around the time like 2014 to 2018, it was like big, 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 and it had like this certain aesthetic. Like I'm not sure if it was at that time, but like a lot of pastels at first, like pleated skirts and like pastel pink, like kind of like this color, and very soft. And then always these checkered, like white black checkered, like kind of Tumblr stylish. And then it quickly got into very strong colors. It was actually kind of fun, and I think that's like what matters, that it's like fun. I just recently changed my Instagram bio to no aesthetic. No, wait. Let me check. Wait. I don't want to say something wrong. I wrote no niche. I am the aesthetic. Look at this. You can also follow me on Instagram as mx. Well, kind of Mathilda, but the A is an X at first and then .l. It's also in the description. But that's like kind of my mindset at this point, because like I said, I went through so much aesthetics, and I found incredibly hard, especially when I got into social media, like on Instagram. There were like everywhere these niches, like I said, there was like the art hosts, and then there were like the grunge girls, the old girls, then streetwear, classy streetwear, like it was insane. And I kept struggling to put myself into these brackets. When I started Instagram, I really wanted to like do fashion content, and every time I would put the hashtags, I was like, okay, what will I pick? So at one point I just picked anything which was somewhat related to fashion. I was like, okay, if it fits, it fits. And I recently decided for myself, it was an act of rebellion, okay, that I'm just gonna leave it. There's no use. There's no use for me to put myself in aesthetics because I never really fully lived after aesthetics. I think the closest I could come is like Pinterest coded. But you know, Pinterest, there's again so many aesthetics, so it's like kind of useless. I just get it sometimes as like a comment, like you're so Pinterest coded or something, and so I sometimes put it as a hashtag. But that's like, I feel like the closest. You know, like if you look at me now, it's like kind of girly. You could maybe say coquette, but you know, tomorrow I could pull up with a fur coat. You know, then then what? You know, coquette. Boom. It's just, I don't know, like fashion's supposed to be fun, right? And I, every time I try to do social media after certain aesthetics, I just kept losing my interest. And there's so many women I follow on Instagram that just do full on hardcore niche content, and I love it. It's so fun to watch. It's so impressive. Like I follow a lot of girlies that do like the coquette girly style. They pull it through hardcore, and I love it in a way, not necessarily for the style, but I feel like I'm seeing the world through their lenses. Like they see the world through those pink glasses, the Pinterest coded, and I just love it. Like thank you for giving me a glimpse through your glass, but like my world isn't really like that. So currently I just said, you know what, I want to try to find anything. But I quickly learned is that like fashion, makeup, everything should always be support to who you are. That's also the thing with the aesthetics. If you're not fully in it and you kind of like lose yourself in there and you be like, okay, well, this is not kind of my thing. It's more of a costume, right? And that makes it worse for your self-esteem, I feel like. So when I go out, I try to wear stuff and do my makeup how it fits my mood that day. And it's just like supporting it, you know, like I'm checking in with myself and then I'm like picking what to wear. But what I also think is so fun, and I think that's like my case kinda, is having certain like things that like are just always there, like that are so you. My iPad just stopped filming because the storage was full. I hope the view didn't change too much. Where was I? Like just like certain pieces that you always wear. Like for example, this is mine. An M with like, can you see it? I don't know. It has like stones in it. So pretty. I love it. And these charms, they're like obviously from Pandora, which I was also hesitant about. Oh my god, I'm so afraid of trends, I realized, but which I love about it, it's like you can make it so individual. Like most of them have a meaning to me. This is actually not Pandora, it's a leopard, because when I was a kid, I loved leopard print, and then it got a trend and I was again hesitant. Then we have it again. But as you can tell here, I love myself some nice leopard print now, and I think it's like kind of out of trend since like 1.5 years, but I'm still having it everywhere, so that's just me now. What just came to my mind, like a lot of stuff from childhood. I think like when you're like in your teens, you try to push it away a little bit, like everything you like as a child, because it's maybe cringe or you kind of grew out of it. But I think like many, or maybe just like my generation, is like kind of finding their way back, or it's just like keeping things around or watching or consuming stuff which is like seemed as maybe childish, which I don't think is childish, you know, like anime, and of course they're like different genres, but it's like basically cartoon, and many girls, you know, like a lot of plushies, and many young women walk around with like little teddy bear charms like on their bags, and I just love that because again, fashion should be fun. These I love since I'm like 14, or yeah, I think 14 fits actually, and I never stopped loving them. They're just so hard to get in Germany, but you see I'm like kind of like having them around here. I think like getting pretty is a lot about authenticity, but like authenticity is not necessarily something which just appears out of nowhere. I'm not sure if you find it or if you build it. Maybe something in between, or maybe it's the same. And also, like, do you have control over your authenticity? Like, do you actually consciously decide what you like? Oh my god, this is like getting so deep now. this is getting too deep. We need to stay shallow over here. No, but like maybe actually I could write that down. Let me write that down. I don't know, maybe that could be a nice topic for another video. But yeah, I feel like this video was kind of fun. Like I really enjoyed it. I think stuff like aesthetics are always so fun to talk about, and I see no necessarily reason to shy away from it. Like looks aren't everything, but they're not nothing either. And you can use them right. You can use makeup, fashion, and whatever to create an ego, to support yourself, like I said, or to challenge yourself a little. I would as always appreciate a like, and if you want to share your opinion, please do, because I'm always interested. I mean that. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.